clean yourself up? Looks like you cleaned yourself up. Hello everybody, welcome to Fit Your 4 Nights, and let's get this started right now. I know you read the title of the video and it's already fruits, different fruits, you can't do different fruits. I got one thing for you.
I have no idea what the title of this video is, so I am confused.
We're shopping for motorhomes, we're not squeezing melons at a roadside fruit stand. Keep your mind out of the gutter.
You're not squeezing any melons.
See,
I guarantee it.
There she went off into the ditch, folks. We just got this video started and she's in the ditch.
You pushed me.
Okay, so we had a great opportunity yesterday at a local RV dealership, McLean's RV. They've got like
she's like falling
4 or 5 locations in Texas, Oklahoma. They've been here in Oklahoma City for as long as I can remember. I'm pretty sure my parents bought a tent trailer from them, like, you know, back in the 20s. That's for you, Mom. But they had 2 of the models that we're looking at on their lot, so we could actually walk back and forth between both.
There was one in between. It was really cool. It was literally like, oh, did that one have extra batteries? Run over there and look. Yeah, it was cool.
If you ever get that opportunity when you're shopping, jump all over it. It is well worth it. I don't know how long we spent there, but that poor salesman.
And they were hot. It was really hot inside of those.
And he was a good guy. I really liked this kid. But anyway. The Tiffin Allegro Red 33 AA 360. You guys that follow us know that we've been eyeballing that one for a while. I mean, you go back to like 2018 when I first stumbled on it, and I fell in love with it then. Mm-hmm. So, and then the Winnebago Forza 34T, we also like that one. There's a $30,000 price difference between the two, and I'm just going to brush on that a little bit.
You know, we bought this house for about $30,000. Yeah. Let's not think about that.
She is old, folks. So,
you know this camera's going to go off at some point, and there will be no evidence.
She speaketh truth, Johnny. The Tiffin is on a raised rail chassis. The Winnebago is on a straight rail chassis. That's a price difference. The Tiffin has the 360 Cummins. The Winnebago has the 340 Cummins. Another difference. The Tiffin has the 3000 Allison. The Winnebago has the 2500 Allison. So everything there in the chassis alone is a major price difference between the two. Now, how much of a difference it plays in performance,
or how much you need it, because somebody might not need that. Like we're thinking about putting a motorcycle lift on the back of our camper, and so to us,
thinking about nothing. If we get a diesel, a motorcycle lift is going on the back of it.
So for us, that is a thing. I mean, that is an important thing. So, but if it's not important to you, that's a lot of price just to get something cooler.
And then the Tiffin has their AC. Their ACs are isolated away from, I mean, where, you know, if you're inside an RV and you look up, you can see the underside of the AC units. Tiffin and Newmar and others do this also, but they kind of hide those. And it's not just a visual thing. It actually helps quieten it down a little bit.
That's what the salesmen tell us. So
I've been in them when they're running.
Oh, really?
You can tell.
And that's a big thing, because sometimes you've turned the TV out. Well, one time you actually put speakers behind us because we couldn't hear the TV.
That was on the little camper
hybrid,
that we had. Yeah. What else was the price? Makes the price difference?
The different water heaters.
That's not really going to impact it big enough to make it a $30,000 price difference. But, I mean, those are the big things that right off the top of my head. You know, people will argue that, well, there's a quality difference. Okay, let's define quality a little bit. And yes, I'm qualified actually to discuss quality because that's actually part of my title at work. there's a couple of different types of quality we're talking about here. We're talking about quality of craftsmanship or build quality, and then we're talking about quality of materials. Quality of materials, most definitely there is a difference between the two. Quality of the build quality, I would argue, is fairly equivalent from what we have witnessed. White fluff in the video. Looking at the two coaches side by side, I didn't see any.
The seal.
That's okay. I mean, I'll go for that, but I don't know that. Yeah. That is more of a design issue, I think, than it is.
So the seal, there was a seal thing in the Winnebago on the slide out where you could see daylight through it. Yeah, on the other hand, on the Tiffin, there's like screws everywhere that apparently they either didn't go where they're supposed to or they didn't pick up the extras. Who knows? So I guess that's kind of a wash there.
You would find out later.
Yeah, you would. Oh, I found where that screw was supposed to be.
Hold on a second. I'm just going to adjust.
We actually did that with our Fleetwood.
Yeah, we've got actually a collection of screws that when we find out where they go, we go ahead and put them back in.
Right.
But build quality, I think, is really, honestly, fairly equivalent between the two.
Winnebagos have been around forever.
You got to figure they kind of know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Now, how did I put it a minute ago? The quality of materials, there is an obvious difference. One of the things that she pointed out was the couch. The material that they used on the couch. The one in the Winnebago was more of a vinyl type feel to it.
I wonder if it's the same brand, just a different quality or a tier on that.
I think Winnebago is known for making their own stuff.
Okay.
So, and then of course Tiffin had a much more upscale covering on their furniture. Felt nicer, felt more durable. That's not to say it was. We don't know. It just felt that way.
Winnebago used the top tier blinds.
Winnebago had the MCD blinds. The Tiffin did not have the MCD shades, which was a little odd. I mean, don't know how much of a difference that makes. See, folks. Here's the thing. On the quality of materials, honestly, we only want that stuff to. We only need that stuff to last as long as we own it.
Or as long as we live.
As long as we own it. So.
Okay, I see. After we're gone, we don't own it. Okay, yeah okay.
And I've lived in mobile homes where the door handles were plastic, the faucets were plastic. I mean, a lot of this stuff was plastic, and it lasted the entire time we were there. Mm-hmm. It's an aesthetics thing. The plastic door handle looks cheap.
Speaking of aesthetics,
we'll get there. Just be patient.
Okay. I'm patient.
The door handle looks cheap, but it's gonna last, and that's what we had with the Winnebago. Go ahead.
The steps going into the Winnebago. The steps, just the steps, not the steps, the exterior,
not the quickie steps,
right? The steps once you get into the camper, the 2 steps that you step up.
Yeah.
It looks like somebody decided to build their own and didn't match them. Took a piece of wood, screwed it in.
That was the thing. It took us a while. There was something wrong. We saw it, something not right here.
Yeah.
We just came from the theme park, so we thought maybe it was just a poor theme park build. I don't know, but I think what it ended up being was that those 2 boards that they used for those steps, they didn't match anything else in the coach.
You could probably put a still picture from the video.
Yeah, probably could. I'm going to try to run some video through this while we're talking about it. That way you don't have to look at my ugly face the whole time. I'll keep her beautiful face down in the corner, but I'll hide mine. But it didn't match anything else, which brought up a subject that it's really one of the reasons Winnebago bought Newmar is because they've always had that's been one of their shortcomings is aesthetics, the upper scale aesthetics of things. They've always kind of fallen short and looked. They're not, but they looked cheap.
Yeah, we know how to build great stuff, but we need to make it look pretty.
Yeah.
So we need you to get in on this.
Yeah. So that the steps, the material, and even really the feel of that couch, it felt a little stiff. It would loosen up over time with my fat self sitting down on it will loosen it up pretty quick. And in the pictures, she noticed that the bedroom looked cheap.
Yeah, it didn't.
But in person, it didn't. It looked great.
Yeah.
So anyway, those are the two differences. The apple and the orange. These are two rigs that are on our list. We have to look at both of them and compare both of them and justify. Is that $30,000? Is it not worth it? I guess is not the right way to put it. But are we willing? Is there enough there in that $30,000 that we would go ahead and spend that extra? Because I mean that's a substantial addition to a monthly payment. Mm-hmm. So
it's like going out to eat 6 times in a month.
Yeah, if you're into that sort of thing,
5 or 6.
Which I am.
Yeah.
So those are, I mean, that's why we wanted to look at them side by side because we like both of them. Both of them, have good floor plans. Both of them are actually kind of different floor plans.
Yeah.
And
we like the brands of both.
Yeah, and we like Winnebagos and we really like Tiffins. The only one not on this list is the Newmar that we would like to look at.
Is it the Country Star? I was wondering. I looked it up. Okay.
The Country Star.
Yeah.
But
it's the 3426.
Yep.
Okay.
So
there's also a base star that's not out yet.
Go through your list you got built up there. What do we got?
Here, I'll let you.
No. You made the list.
Okay. And this is for us. The important things both of them had: the overhead bunk, the washer dryer, and the king bed.
The king bed. We're a little suspicious on this one, folks.
I can't figure this out because when I laid in it, I thought it was a queen. Because if I lay sideways on our king bed in our camper that we have right now, there's about 8 inches. I'm about 5'7", 5'8", and there's about an extra 8 inches sideways, the wrong way. We lay the wrong way, and on this one, I laid down there, and I mean my heel to head touched on each end. But it says, Chris looked up the specs, and it's
80.
Yeah.
80 inches wide. Is that what it was? Or no?
Yeah, that's a length, I think.
Yeah, so 72 inches wide.
Yeah.
So.
But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I need to go do it again. Maybe I.
Yeah, I mean her head and feet were touching either end. I mean, okay, maybe it's what they call an RV king.
But you still look at the
It was
specs.
rounded on the ends like an RV king, but when you get online and look at the specs, it says 72 by 80.
Yeah, maybe it was written wrong.
I may have the numbers wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a king, whatever the numbers are for the king. So yeah, that.
Okay, one thing we've talked about a lot. There's no carpet in the Winnebago.
Yes.
That's a big thing. Okay, since we're talking about things that Chris likes, he also likes the mid-entry in the Winnebago.
I do like mid-entry, and this is why I like mid-entry. When I pull over to get gas or, pull over at a stop and she doesn't want to get out of her seat or she's got her feet kicked up, I don't want to get in her way. I mean, really, that's all it is. I mean, I have to walk around her all the time around here, so it's not that big a deal for me to walk around her, but I don't think there's enough room for me to actually walk around her if she's all sprawled out in the passenger seat. And she's got to kind of scoot out of the way so that I can get out of the rig, just so I can do something silly.
Although there's
like
more
put
space
diesel
in front of with.
Yeah, I don't care about how much space.
The weird thing is I'm saying there's more room for you to walk around me. The Winnebago, even though it has the mid-entry, has just as much space in front of the passenger side.
There's like an acre in front of her seat.
Yeah, it's interesting. The gas rigs are not like that at all. Trust me, we're in a gas rig. Okay. There's plenty of prep room in the Winnebago. There's not much prep room in the Allegra, but
kitchen.
I'm sorry, kitchen
cooking
prep.
food.
Yeah. He's
not
the
that
cook.
she's concerned with it at all.
I have to do dishes. But the Winnebago has a little. It's new. I think it's new. I don't remember it. Has a little drawer that slides out and opens up and gives you a little bit more space. So which is
can't hold a whole lot of weight. You're not going to throw a flank on it and chop it all up, but it can hold some bowls of ingredients and stuff.
And this will affect how we camp. I mean, it will, because we'll have to like cover half the sink and kind of use that, which is kind of we kind of leave our sink covered anyway, so it's not a big thing, but it's something to look at. Okay, the living room windows, they have 3 that surrounds you on the Winnebago,
on the slide that comes out with the sofa.
Right. Okay, but the Allegra has seating, the opposing seating in the living room, and that's awesome.
That's one thing that she has to have that we've never had.
It's not. I don't have to have it, but yeah. Otherwise, we wouldn't be considering the Winnebago.
But the dinette is across from the couch, so if we had guests, they could sit on the table.
On the table? Well, it's not just that. I mean, Chris sits there on his computer, and this way, we're not. I don't have to do this to talk to him. I mean, we're kind of face to face.
Annoying.
So I really, really like that. Oh, and the other thing about that, we've talked about this in the video, is you can look over the window goes over your own porch right there.
If you have the TV down. Because the televator is right there for this particular setup that we were looking at. Yeah,
an odd thing is it doesn't show the television in the slide out, which I always thought was a little bit silly anyway, because when you're at a truck stop or something camping, you're not going to be able to see your TV because it's literally closed in the slide out. Well, they got rid of that, but the floor plan still shows that, so that's kind of odd. Just things we need to look into. There's a window in the bath in the Allegra.
Yep.
The air conditioner you talked about. Did you know the Allegra has soft closed drawers, like your tool chest?
I kind of noticed it, but I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention where it actually registered in this head. And when she says Allegro, she's talking about the Allegro Red.
Right. It's right? Isn't Allegra?
Row.
Is it row?
Row.
Okay, row. Okay, now I'm going to say ruh again. Okay. The slide out wall where that TV was now has no storage. It has frames. That is the bathroom wall. They have what look like, honestly, cabinet doors just glued up on the wall there. Yeah. Well, like Chris said, it makes the bathroom bigger. But do you really want the bathroom bigger in place of storage when you're talking about an RV? Which, by the way, the Winnebago has a little bit smaller bathroom. It has some nice deep storage there. It's deep. It's actually...
it's the same location.
Yeah. I mean, if you're like us, you've had a camper where, you have this much depth, which does nothing. It's wasted. You can't do anything with it. And that was actually big.
I was told you could hang a jacket in it. And I was like, a jacket.
We have had some salesmen really try to sell stuff crazy ways, but anyway. Dislikes. Do you know the passenger seat footrest is an option in the Winnebago? Isn't that weird?
And honestly, what's weird for me about it is Winnebago doesn't often have a whole lot of options. Typically, with Winnebago, what they build is what you get.
Okay, maybe they're changing that, or maybe they got rid of some stuff that was what you get, and now they're calling it an option.
Yeah.
You've got on Tiffins, you've got what they call the dog window, which is also used to be able to see a curb or something. When you're driving and you're coming up next to a curb, the driver can actually see.
Not that you could actually see the curb because of the angle it's at, but you could see the terrain there to your passenger side.
It gives you some more vision.
Yeah.
So it's got that, and it's got a screen door cover. So they're really thinking pets, I think, because like a metal cover over the bottom of the screen on your door, so your pets aren't going to scratch it as badly. There is a solar light. The solar light in the which is actually kind of like a hole with plastic over it in your shower. It's actually got a cover. And if you live in a hot area, you will understand why that would be.
Those shower covers are very handy. I mean, the whole skylight thing, the salesman likes to sell you on the skylight, and all of us who live down here in the South, and especially in the Southeast, are like, oh, goody, I get to be like one of those little brownies in an easy bake oven.
Yep.
Because you step in the shower in August with one of those skylights, and
Yeah, and that's the only other thing, really. Did you see this?
The Winnebago has a smaller fuel tank.
Quite a bit smaller.
16 gallons less. So with the Tiffin, and this is typically what I recall seeing on diesel coaches, it has a 100-gallon fuel tank. The Winnebago has 84 less gallons, so...
Not 84 less.
I mean,
it
has 84 gallons, has 16 less gallons, so, I mean, that's... I have to wonder if that's like a weight saving thing, because that's going to be about 100 pounds, roughly. Water weighs about 8 gallons, or 8 pounds per gallon.
Wow, you just got the stuff in your head, don't you?
Well, it might be wrong. I could just be making it up. I do that all the time.
And the gray tank was the only other important thing, and that's quite a difference too.
Gray tank 54, gray tank 70. Yeah, the Tiffin has the larger gray tank. Not a huge deal because our gray tank is closer to 50.
Okay.
And I believe somebody's...
But you have to empty it a lot.
Well, that's because you take forever showers.
I do.
And I think somebody's knocking at the door. We'll be back. So that's interesting, the gray tank being smaller.
The others don't really matter.
No.
Fresh is the same, and black is two gallons bigger on the Allegro. Yeah, black doesn't. I wouldn't even care on the black.
And the length, the Winnebago is about 4 inches longer.
Yeah.
Big deal. Neither one of the models they had on the lot had a ladder, which I'm kind of back and forth on the ladder, because here's the deal, folks. The reason we're looking at these particular models is length, and it's not for national parks or state parks. It's for driveway. Mm-hmm. Yes, we are those annoying neighbors. We park our motorhome in our driveway. Here. I mean, because we like to have it here, so when we're ready to go, we're ready to go. Mm-hmm. And
plus, we're always bringing things in and out.
I believe 36.8 is the most we can fit in the driveway. And if there's not a ladder on the back side of the coach, it makes it a lot easier. So,
but you're always going up there to sweep leaves off of the awnings and stuff.
Right, but so we'll have to have one of those extended ladders.
Which leads us into something we forgot to talk about, and that is...
Winnebago wins on storage.
Base storage.
Base storage. Hands down.
Not interior storage.
Yeah, base storage, Winnebago wins hands down on it. The red is limited on its base storage. We could make it work. I mean, come on, we're RVers. RVers make this stuff work.
But when you're adding a ladder, when you're adding stuff.
But it's a like a retractable type ladder.
Yeah, but you're still adding. You know, the fence. Well, I mean the green fence, not the hard fence. Well, the hard fence would fit in there.
And the Winnebago, I am like...
Well, both of them.
I'm 90% sure with the Winnebago we could make the toddler fence fit in the basement. With the Tiffin, it's very possible we could.
I think we ought to look at everything we've got and then go over and look at it. Like, tell the salesman, just let us go. We don't want to bother you. Just...
For me, in my mind, the basement storage is not going to be a decision at this point.
Okay. It was at one point.
It was at one point, but now we
got stuff figured out.
We it's kind of dangerous to say that, but we do have a lot of this mess figured out, and
there's still more we can get rid of inside of our camper.
Oh yeah.
Under the bed.
Oh yeah. And plus there's hot weather camping, cold weather camping. So, you know, there's different situations we're packing for. And depending on what the home situation is going to be like when I retire, I mean, even still, we've got kids, you know, our kids stored all their junk here for years and years and years after they left the house. It's our turn. The Tiffin's got the fan in the ceiling fan in the bedroom.
I mean,
the cockpit.
Oh, the cockpit. Yeah, you liked that.
On the Tiffin, it kind of wrapped around, enveloped the driver. I really like that because everything was in. I'm a short guy, so everything was within reach.
Well, even really. Vision-wise.
Yeah, and not that the Winnebago was bad. It just wasn't as enveloping as the Tiffin was.
Kitchen window we've always loved, and the Tiffin always.
Yeah, which, you know, gives me the opportunity to look out over the campsite while I am making breakfast, or I am making lunch, or I am making dinner, or I am preparing a snack.
Well, I am taking the trash out.
Or taking a nap, more like it.
Oh, you're more likely to take a nap. Truth.
The Tiffin had a hamper, a built-in hamper.
Yeah.
Takes away a little bit of clothing storage, but...
There's two things. We bring a hamper with us. We bring a fan with us. There might be two things we don't have to bring.
Yeah.
Now, one of the reasons
solar panels.
Oh, yes. Yeah. But that was an option.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The model that was on the lot had 3 solar panels on top. I don't know what the wattage was.
Oh, and the batteries, too.
Yeah. And the Tiffin has 6 batteries. The Winnebago has 4, which could easily be remedied because there's enough expansion space on the Tiffin.
You're buying 3 more batteries.
2 more.
Oh, 2 more. Okay,
yeah.
2 more batteries, which is going to increase the price of, you know. And like if we Chris said in the Winnebago we could put different furniture in. Well, now we're still increasing the price. I mean, I don't think we're going to get 30,000 difference with all the stuff we would personally put in it, because we're not going to change the transmission. We're not going to make a bigger engine if we got the Winnebago. But the stuff that we would add to, you know, it's stuff to consider.
Yeah, it is to consider, and yes, to reiterate, I understand these are 2 different levels, I guess you could say, of coaches. But the thing is, we're shopping for this size of a coach, and you know, back in the day on the forums, the same people that would scream apples and oranges would also scream floor plan is king. And I mean,
I think most of us in this world are very confusing anyway.
Yeah.
We're always screaming this, but then we say this, which totally cancels that out.
But we're also talking about 2 different payments. I mean, we're talking about 2 different levels of coaches in a lot of people's eyes. As far as build quality, I would argue that they're roughly the same level. But we're also talking about the cost. Is it worth shelling out a house worth the money extra for what you get in the Tiffin? And it's hard for me to say that what you get in the Tiffin you lose in the Winnebago. Because you don't, I mean, you're not paying for it in the Winnebago, obviously. So she asked a question yesterday while we were standing in the Tiffin. You know, if we were to buy yesterday, which one would we walk away with? Money not being on the mind. Tiffin. I mean, easily. We've always liked the Tiffins. The aesthetics in the Tiffins are better than the aesthetics in the Winnebago. Not to say that the aesthetics in the Winnebago are bad. I thought it was a beautiful coach, inside and out. The Tiffin, though,
it wows you.
It is.
And it's not the ceiling, by the way, because people would probably think if I say it wows you that, oh, it's got that. Yeah. We actually don't love the fancy ceiling.
No, we don't. We don't. That's not us.
Yeah.
But There's a lot of good there in that Tiffin. But that's not to say we won't walk away with the Winnebago. It really depends on how we want our wallet. If it depends on whether we want to take a club to our wallet or a feather to our wallet. We want to beat the heck out of it.
But we also have to replace tires. I mean, every so often we still have to do all the maintenance and stuff. We have to consider that, like make sure we have money for all that.
So it's been kind of a long-winded video.
You guys aren't subscribing enough to like we're not getting paid. So
hey, hello. Hey, let me get toward the light. There we go. You can see me now. I'm sorry. This video about Tiffin Winnebago was recorded before we saw the Tiffin at the Dallas RV show. I'm going to include that clip here. But we looked at a 33AA and it was
kind of a gut punch, really.
Oh, it was bad disappointing. I mean,
when you consider that's what we were pretty much down to, and rah, and we read all about it, and yeah, this is so cool, and then it was like, oh.
Yeah. The bathroom door, there was, and I'll put some video here of it showing, there was an inch to an inch and a half gap between the door and the door frame. I mean, the door did not close. As a matter of fact, it would open both ways, tearing things up in the process, of course.
And my biggest thing is they brought it to the show like this.
Yes.
This was like, look at this product. Isn't this, wait, what? I mean...
But like another customer that was in there with us, he's like, it left the factory like this.
Right.
I mean, this is big.
And it was signed by Mr. Tiffin.
That is really probably the most disappointing part of this thing.
Nope, there's nothing else.
Yep. It's all good, folks. So let us know what you think down below. Like the video. And if you're not subscribed, come on. Would you just click the button.
Yeah, I mean that's all you do. And then maybe we can suddenly make enough money that we
hey, here's $2 to put towards the payment.
Yeah, $2, yep.
We'll catch y'all down the trail.
Bye.